We're at the very end of Wednesday. It's 11:11 p.m. and I'm going to go through you what my day was like today and what my days are increasingly like. So it's really continuous throughout the day. Even as I make this video, I'm not caught up on getting back to clients. I'm close, but it's getting more and more like this. And I have someone that I've brought along. He's my new director of operations, but right now I'm not having him do anything just because it's not as like having him help me. I still have to help him help me, if that makes sense. So he still has to learn certain things, and there's certain access that he won't have. For example, I would have to set him up with an account with Adobe. Um, I'm not sure if I want to have him accessing Stripe right now. So there's just other considerations. So it's not as straightforward as well, just outsource to someone else. I do have someone else, but I have to outsource to him in a certain way. And it's not even efficient. It's more efficient for me to go through it right now than it is to for me to have him work on it. But it's we're getting close to the point where I have to like there's no other choice where I have to bring someone. He's going to have to be with me and talking to me out throughout the day. But anyways, let's go through these bullet points on the screen, starting with leads. So leads are always a priority for me. If someone contacts me, I want to make sure that I respond to them as soon as possible. The objective is 30 minutes or less. I'd like to get it under 15 actually. But I usually know when I get an email, because if I'm working on desktop, I'll see my email up count go up one number, or I'll just constantly be checking my phone. And if someone writes in, then I want to get back to them as soon as possible. So leads take a priority. And then I get inquiries, which don't necessarily have to be leads. And I can give you an example from today. I received, this was actually an email, but I also received a LinkedIn follow-up. And this was from a company that wanted me to be a featured guest on a webinar. And so I didn't get back to them right away because I actually wanted to think about how much I was going to charge for this, because it's a unique spot. It was for 30 minutes plus question and answers. You don't, for some of these things, you don't want to undercharge. But also here I was recognizing like this is a real chance for me to get distribution. And so this was an inquiry, and I get these from time to time. I think lately I've had more of them, but it's not like it's regular. It's more like infrequent, and sometimes they can come in, I wouldn't say flurries, but in batches. And so I get inquiries. I've got inquiries from investors lately. So hinting around that. I'm not, I mean, unless someone comes to me with something specific and something really that would catch my attention, I'm not interested in selling any equity in Accessible. But anyway, that's inquiries. And then I talk to my contractors a lot. So the lead auditor, my lead developer, I will message throughout the day. And it's just like, coordinating with clients, client questions. Lately, we've had more feedback for Accessibility Tracker, not so much feedback as asking what features we have. So that's another part of it. But yeah, I mean, there's all these clients, and we need to coordinate. Have you answered this question, or can you here's another project, it's good to go. And the way I actually handle this now is we used to not do this, and now I do this. I just give my the lead auditor, I just give her the actual, what is it called, the agreement, so she gets the full agreement. And the reason I do that is because it's just easier. Like, it has the scope, and I'd rather just give that to her, and then I don't have to, there's no like me taking information and giving it to her. Now she has it. um Stripe. So I go through Stripe a lot, send an invoice a lot. Lately, Accessibility Base has been something I built up, and we're getting close to that. And then I'm going to have someone who's working on Accessibility Base increasingly. And at some point, I expect it will be full time. But Accessibility Base is something that recently I spent a lot of time on, and of course, it's not going to be nearly as much time. But like building it, correcting it, right? We've seen there need to be certain issues fixed. So there's Accessibility Base, then there's the Discord, there's the community. This is y'all. If you're not a part of the Discord, definitely email me to join, KRIS at accessible.org. And so I try to post intermittently throughout the day, or not, maybe not throughout the day, but just like I like to look and see if anybody else has posted, and then also just add in different things that are coming up, and try to answer questions. So if you have a question, the Discord is probably the easier way for me to answer you. Let's see here, YouTube. So I still, like, obviously there's this video, but then I want to have regular videos on the channel as well. So with the regular videos, this is how I get some clients through here. Also just educating people, helping people find out about the membership. There's that. And so there's that part of the YouTube. And then I also have yeah, so I post those videos, and then wires. So lately, this has been more so lately. I try not to send wires too often, because if I'm sending wires, then it's not as difficult now. The setup is there, but it's like it disrupts the flow. But obviously, contractors need to be paid, so wires are sent out. And then see here, contracts. Contracts take up recently, especially more of my time, but working through contracts. So that's one that takes up time. Client meetings, not as much time. Not as many people want to meet. Some people do, some people don't. And when they want to meet, I'll usually meet them. Sometimes I'll tell them no. And this is not for like your normal client, but this is for someone who's asking for something where I don't think I want to go for it. But client meetings also, more and more. And then let's see here, scoping. Scoping is just Yeah, it just takes up time. It's something where I'm going to source this out more, but scoping takes up time. And then when I get tired of going back and forth, and like there's just at some points like I can't read any more contracts. I can't read any more anything about accessibility. I have to stop. And so for just to break the plane, I will go to the NBA or MMA Reddit, and I will usually in NBA sort by hot, and then MMA I will sort by new. MMA doesn't have that many new updates, so I'll do that. Then there are client replies. So this being different from leads, this is where clients ask me a question. And so I will reply to clients. That takes up not that much time, but it's continuous. Then there's accessibility tracker work. And so new features are coming out on accessibility tracker all of the time. We've got scanning and monitoring coming up here in about probably less than 10 days. And it's not like as if I'm the one that is actually coding this, but I am involved in, coordinating. Oh, recently, I didn't even put this down, but recently we have a new color contrast app, and to my knowledge, it is the best color contrast app there is. This is a Chrome extension, and so you can find it on the web in the web store. But we are updating some of the opening card and the description, but that's there. Let's see here, dog walks. So I still need to take my dog on walks, so that happens. And so that's another part of it is my dog. He still needs attention, so that's happening throughout the day. And then I have an Echo V3, I think it is, bike from Rogue that I really really like, and so I need to ride that. And so I usually do it with weights, but maybe I think now more I will go in and ride the bike, and it's right there. It's like I could walk out if I walk for 5 seconds, I'll get to the bike. So it's just right outside in the garage. So that's the cool things. I don't have a gym membership. I've actually assembled my own fitness center, and I did this like in 2021 when was it? I don't know if it was a pandemic, but whatever was going on with 2021, I just decided I was like, that I'm going to go ahead and retire from the gym, and I bought different weights and different equipment. And so now if I can go outside right now, and same with my bike, it's right out in the garage, so literally seconds away, so that I don't have to take the gym trip. And that that to me is that's saving like 30 25 minutes, 30 minutes in just the gym, going back and forth, the friction. So there's that. And then eating and grocery, a lot of times I'm not really like, even if I wasn't busy, I'm not that motivated to eat breakfast. I don't even think we need it. I think that's more of just something that's been put into the sphere that like 3 meals a day, etc. But I will get hungry every now and then, and sometimes I'll realize it. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes it's just like I'm not. It's not like I'm going to eat. Like I'm not like it's not like I have it in my head. But sometimes I'll realize that I haven't eaten and I will be hungry. So there's that. There is research, just research that I want to do for various things, ideas I have. Research. I usually use the AI for research. The AI, just AI. Movie and Spurs. So I like to watch the Spurs games. I don't always. I've missed a few of them. Sometimes it's because they're not actually on TV. I have NBA League Pass, but they don't show all the games on League Pass. But I'll buy if it's on ESPN. So ESPN is not on League Pass, and I don't have ESPN, but I'll buy a Sling 1 day pass, and to me that's better than having a subscription. So I take that approach, and then I like movies. I don't get to watch them a lot, but like sometimes when I'm done at the end of the day, like I can't even like I'm beyond the point where I can think anymore. And like sometimes I want to record videos, but it's just I know like if I get too tired when I record a video, I know what will happen. I'll have too many takes, and I can't afford to have that many takes. I used to have many more takes, and I have to like take what I get now. So, but movie and the Spurs, I try like I usually watch the Spurs, and then with movies, I don't. It might be maybe 1 to 2 movies a week, just depending on how like if I want to. It's not if I want to work, but if I feel like it's even mentally within the cards, because sometimes you work and you're not really you're putting in a lot of effort, but you're not getting a lot of results. And so if I feel that's the case, I've learned I'm not going to do it. I like the Bill Simmons podcast. I used to like it more. I don't really watch as many episodes today or listen to as many episodes, but today I listen to a fair amount of minutes. And so I'll catch the Bill Simmons podcast every now and then. I'll look at the analytics, by the way. Literally, this was today, literally record high today. So today is the all-time record high. This is more than I've ever had. And I think this is like, especially now, this is I'm seeing what I thought we would see. But yeah, and we've got a live stream this Friday, and part of the reason I like the live stream is because this way we can get a lot of questions in all at once, because I want, like, as a part of this membership, I want to be able to answer your questions, but I can't just have a consulting session, right? Like I can't just answer questions like regularly, right? Like even if I wanted to at this point, like I have a contract right now. I can think of it think of it right now, and I still haven't responded to it, just because it's like when I have to look through a contract, I know I have to pay close attention, and it's something I dislike doing. Obviously, I need to do it, but when there are certain chances, like this particular contract is with a technology company, and they would act as an intermediary, and they have the potential to connect us to all sorts of opportunities, and especially within the public sector. And this is a new intermediary, by the way. It's not the one I have currently. So this would be a great setup for accessible.org. So it's worth it, but I don't like this part of it. But this is just me. The setup with the intermediary. Once we get set up, it becomes much easier. So that's the contract side of it. But less and less contracts. I just most of the clients, when we agree, like when we have the term set up, it's not a problem. Like I send over my standard agreement. If you have access to the business course, you have access to my standard agreement. We once that's in place, then once all the terms, the what's it called, the audits, the environments, the standard, etc. Once that's all in place, then it's fairly easy. And so that's where the best clients are. When we get, I mean, the best clients are really the small businesses. And you know what's surprising me is that the clients that are interested in not getting sued are the easiest to work with, and not in the way that I didn't think that, but with I'm finding with VPATs, they're just it's not it's more frictional. With the website accessibility, not as much. So I mean, yeah, with when they're concerned with making their website AD compliant, not as much. So that's what's been happening, and this has been I think it's been great. Like as far as like, I mean, it is really nice when it's just continual leads and new clients and processing transactions, and that's about where I'm at. And so I think oh, and I promoted. So I haven't even been able to do this lately. If if you've kept track of of the content I've put out, like I haven't even been making that much content lately. Content is what got me here. This is where I got to the point where I don't have to outreach now. So, but content's what got me here. But I can't I don't have time to write the content, or even when I get the time, I just don't want to do it. And I can produce content fairly quickly, but I mean, when you stack content on with the clients, then it's just it it's like, I mean, this is like a full day, and this is like with me working continuously throughout the day. So I'm working, writing back clients, taking care of various things. I wash my clothes, I will take my dog on a walk, and then just continuously out throughout the day. Like my day is very efficient up until the point where I get I suppose like work saturation, and then I'm just like I already know that it's not going to work in my favor to respond to an email, especially an email that's more layered, because I know that I've reached a certain point where anything I reply back is going to be, it's not going to come off the right way, and so that happens. But this is the normal course of my day, and I think one other thing I'll do is I think at some point I'll probably have like I'll probably take you to the fitness center, show you the garage, and show you. I don't even clean my room. My desk is not even that clean. That's not how I operate. I wish I did, but it gets to efficiency to the point where it's like there are things that things that you would think would be taken care of, but just I do not, like, I don't get to them because it's like, if I get to that, then I'm not doing something else. So very busy days, but I've set, I did this on purpose. This was on purpose. I knew I would get to this point. And so like, this is not me, this is not me saying this is a bad thing or a negative thing at all. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to get to the point where there were too many clients, and I want to well beyond this. I think I could easily, not easily, or I can see easily myself getting to the point where we're getting 50 leads a day. Think that is completely within reason given the current market dynamics. So even at this, and then given this is just me mostly coordinating everything, everything's flowing through me, and so I'm going to get to the point where it's got to flow through the new director of operations, who is a contractor, and then other people. It will get to that point at some point. I don't know exactly when, but we're seeing a real increase in demand, and so this is how my days are, like, currently, right? What I've described to you is today, at the end, like, looking back at the day, and then also previous days in 2026, where this is just, we're at a different point in the digital accessibility marketplace. So I'm processing through things really fast, and yeah, it's just like sometimes, like, when you're going through these things so fast, you miss certain details. I try not to miss those details, but like sometimes, like, it's like one thing to the next, and especially with the contracts, you've got to pay close attention, and also just like filtering through clients and deciding which clients are the right ones and which ones are not worth the time. But this is how my day is currently operating. It's a flowing state of emails and responses, and then just you see my interests come through here, and then there's also there's other things I'd like to do. There's other things I'd like to do that I just currently don't have the time to do. I don't know if I put it in here, or if I had it in here at one point, but research. So when I say research, something else I'm looking at is moving. So that will happen too, because I'm not going to live. I'm in northern Utah right now, and it's this is a snow drought, and so even in northern Utah right now it's February 11th, so this should be like as prime winter, and right now it's not snowing. I think there's some snow in the forecast. It's colder, and it freezes sometimes, but it's not snowing. I think there's only been one, maybe two true snow days this whole winter, and that is really bad for Utah because Utah relies on the snow, and so there's already a winter inversion here, which is really bad air quality, and then there's a drought, and I don't, I think in probably like 3 or 4 months, yeah, 3 or 4 months, I'm out of here. So I'm currently looking for new places to go, and I've got something in mind, but I'm not sold on it yet because I'm looking at there's different environmental factors that I'm looking at, but that's the other part of this too. Is just like you know, intellectual curiosity. I think is another part for me. Is like I like to look at different things and just see how things are working. And we have AI, right? So I try not to get too caught up with just contracts and other other things I just need to work through and look at those things where I explore and open up more. So this is my day. You've got a really good insight into like what I'm thinking and what I'm going through. And then there's more coming, right? Like we're not done. Accessibility tracker is going to get better. Accessibility base is going to get better. More opportunities are coming. You're going to find out about those. I'm noticing more and more people are emailing me and messaging me on LinkedIn. And I think that's just the result of being at the center of where a lot of consumer activity is is headed or is currently at. And so I think that's also a part of this. So, you know, me being right in the middle, like this is what I anticipated. So this is what's happening. So now you have a really good feel for this. But another part of this video is I want to prime you for Friday's live stream. And today, or in 26 minutes, it will be Thursday. So almost tomorrow's live stream. But start thinking about, well, like, what are you doing? What exactly do you want to do? Do you feel like you're not doing the right thing currently? Um, Pricing, uh, where do you feel like you were missing something? Start to think about this, and then as we go through these questions, I'm going to help point you in the right direction. I'm going to help you with working through any client objectives, or how to position your offerings. I mean, that's something I'm working on right now. I mean, there's accessibility tracker stuff that I still haven't got to. I've intended to make a block of 5 accessibility tracker videos now for probably 2 weeks, and there's so much more on the personal, like just personal documents, various work that I have to get through outside of accessible.org activities. So there's so much here. There's so much to do, and so now my day, how I'm going through this, and just now how to look at like what I'm doing relative to everything else. But yeah, accessibility tracker is something I think I want to have more educational material about it, because you've got this platform that can do so much more than any other platform there is. I have no doubt I would be willing to put up a lot of money and bet anybody that accessibility tracker absolutely destroys any other platform. And I have to make content so that people can find out about it, and people are finding out about it. More and more people are asking me about it. But we're not stopping there. Like, we just have so many ideas. It's like there's so much that is open, like wide open, and there's so much that's just missed by the current marketplace, and there's so much it's so easy to add to accessibility tracker. So I mean, just an example is like having the ability to upload videos and documentation, and have accessibility tracker take care of your record keeping. I've also got a European Accessibility Act app that I have almost completed, but I haven't finished it and made it to where it's consumer ready. So I mean, that's in play as well, and that's something that I have. If you actually look for EAA app, you'll see that I've been talking about this for several months ago, and I've almost got this done. I just haven't completed it yet. Like it's like 95% of the way there, but I have to finish it. So that's something else that I've been working on. So it's like between everything else I just mentioned, I have ideas and I want to execute on those, and I am. Accessibility Base was one of them, and I got it done in fairly quick order. But there's so much to do, and so if you are thinking that you're looking for work and you're thinking like, it's the other way. It's like, like maybe it's like, where do I get the work from, or yeah, like something along those lines. If you're thinking like, where are the clients going to come from, just start thinking about, one, building a baseline. So getting clients in, getting money in. You have to have enough to live on, and then once you get that, then start in your mind and start thinking like, just start thinking naturally about what would provide value to the end user, or not the end user, to the consumer, even if the consumer isn't aware of it yet. It's like you're a quarterback in football, and you're throwing the ball where the receiver will be. You're throwing it in advance, even though nobody's there yet. So start thinking about it in that way, and start thinking about what could you do that would really help out a lot of people in accessibility and compliance. And you can take this in so many directions. If you're non-technical, it's very easy to build out media. And when I say media, it could be a YouTube channel, it could be TikTok, it could be Instagram, it could be a blog. Blog won't be as strong. I think video content is really, really strong right now. I wouldn't say a podcast either. I had a so what I did was I had the YouTube videos and I would use them as a podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But I just didn't. I think I only had a few leads from that, so it just wasn't worth my time doing it. But the point being is, there's like, if you're non-technical, then figure out a way to connect people to the right people, and if you do that, then you can make money off of just the fact that you're providing that value. So that's there. Building a media empire is there. Building products, that's something we're going to be talking about more and more, because there's products. So I'll give you a preview to one of the videos. Cookie banners, make them accessible, highlight the accessibility. Easy, right? It's on, like, you see these on so many different websites. So that's a preview to another video, but I mean, that's one of the insights. But there's so much to get through. There's so much there. You just have to find a way to get to it. Once you get to it, and the easiest and the fastest way is to direct outreach. If you can provide value, or you can connect value to the person you're talking to, it's right there. Just don't try to take shortcuts in the sense that um, you're doing anything unethical or anything that people dislike generally. So if you're just like spamming a bunch of people at once, that's not going to go over as well. But if you take everything and you play it straight up, I mean, this is the marketplace. It's wide open. I keep saying that because it is. It's just wide open. And right now, there's some of that receiver throwing the ball to the receiver who isn't there yet. There's some of that in play because it's needed, and I think you're going to see this with fractional accessibility more and more. You're going to see this with so many other aspects of accessibility. It's needed. Just sometimes the consumers aren't there yet. But that's why it's a good time to go ahead and start anticipating and start thinking of, what someone would need. They would need this, and you can think of that, and that will help you in deciding what to do, or maybe just how to market what you're already doing, because the need is there. But what you also have to do is you have to make sure that it's obvious and clear what you do, and make it obvious, that the value obvious. So that's part of what I need to do with accessibility tracker, is like market education, and making it very obvious, like, why this is such a good value. Because if you can have the value, you can have the skills, knowledge, and expertise, but if you don't present it in a way where people understand how they stand to gain from it, then you're not going to get as many leads, conversions, etc. So this is it. This is my day. At the end, we talked more about opportunity and mindset, and then on Friday we'll have the live stream. And so I think this is going to be a really cool live stream. Make sure to think of all of your questions. If you want me to, when it go through a product idea, go through a service idea, go through pricing, everything is on the table for Friday. So I will see you at the live stream on Friday.